Minnesota was promised to the Somalis 3,000 years ago, and I got proof. In this video alone, I'm going to show you the evidence as to why Minnesota is the native land. So as we should all know by now, some of the first early settlers of Minnesota were actually Somali explorers. They came to Minnesota and actually set up one of the first early civilizations. And as you can see here, this is a picture of the Somali founding fathers of Minnesota. Even this guy here, he's still Somali, he's just half Yemeni. And as well, we can quite clearly see the Somali flag waving in the background. And as you can see from the old Minnesota flag, it is very, very similar to the Somali flag. They got similar color schemes, they just covered the star up. But in the year 2024, they actually changed the Minnesota flag to resemble more of a Somali flag. Reason being, they were scared of losing the history and the culture of Minnesota. And the new flag was actually designed by a non-Somali called Andrew Pekuri. However, that being said, this man most likely does have Somali ancestry. Because as we know, some of the most famous Minnesotans ever actually do seem to have a mix of Somali admixture within their DNA, which actually isn't too far-fetched considering the fact that they've been here for so long, and that was promised to them 3,000 years ago. And if you disagree, then you're anti-Christian.
Somalians, Hamites claim Minnesota promised to them 3,000 years ago. You are accursed. Now, you saw the video in the beginning where they're speaking as if it was already prophesied that they will have Minnesota as their promised land. But in a sense, they're kind of being sarcastic, using sarcasm. But one thing about these Hamites, they are perpetual liars. When I say Ham, I'm talking about the Africans today. Yeah, the so-called Negroes in America, we are not African. You can clearly look at us and look at them, and you can tell the difference that we're not African, but they tell lies, blatant lies. So just to even say 3,000 years ago that you was already over here it's just rubbish. It's just foolishness. All right. But I'm also gonna have a video at the end as well that's gonna be showing you the distinction between the Hamites, who will be the Africans, and the Shemites, which would be the so-called Negroes, who stem from the tribe of Judah, one of the 12 tribes of Israel, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But before I do proceed, I would like to give all the honor, glory, and praises to the Most High Yahawah and His only begotten Son, YAHAWASHI, whom the world ignorantly called Jesus, because the letter J in the English alphabet did not exist 2,000 years ago. Double honors to my elders at Great Millstone, taught me this truth through the Spirit. Single honors to the elect. Peace and blessings to the 1/3. And to the confusion that faces in the four corners of the earth. Shalom. The reason why I say that Ham is accursed, because you have to go back to the book of Genesis, the 9th chapter. Now let's go there. Genesis chapter 9, verse 17 through 27. And God said unto Noah, this is the token of the covenant which I have established between me and all flesh that is upon the earth. And the sons of Noah that went forth of the ark were Sham and Ham and Japheth, and Ham is the father of Canaan. What was Palestine called before it was called Palestine? It was called Canaan, the land of Canaan, which the Lord gave to the Israelites. Read Deuteronomy 7:1 on down. Okay. So verse 19, and I'm going to prove later on that the Lord separated the bounds of the children of Adam according to the number of the children of Israel. So everybody on earth is supposed to have their own allotted land. All right, I'm going to prove that as well. These are the 3 sons of Noah, and them was the whole earth overspread. And Noah began to be an husbandman, and he planted a vineyard, and he drank of the wine and was drunken, and he was uncovered within his tent. And Ham, the father of Canaan, saw the nakedness of his father and told his 2 brethren without. This Lord said, you shall not uncover your father's nakedness. It's twofold. Number one, you should not be looking at your father naked, nor your mother naked. And also uncovering your father's nakedness was also mean laying down with the women that he laid with as well, because he become one with those women. I remember Elder Apostle Gabar said it before, if you sleep with the woman that has a man, you're pretty much sleeping with her and that man, because her and the man are one flesh. But I digress. And Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it upon both their shoulders and went backward and covered the nakedness of their father, and their faces were backward. and they saw not their father's nakedness. And Noah awoke from his wine and knew what his younger son had done unto him. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, not Ham though, his son, Canaan. A servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. Let's look at the land of Africa. Africa was the first of all of Noah's sons to rule. Like going back to Babylon, okay? Look at all of the resources in Africa. Africa is naturally the richest continent in the freaking world. I mean, literally like trillions of dollars just sitting there. But how come Africa, the people, are in such poor states? Because it goes back to that curse. Genesis 9 and 27. I'm sorry, 25. And he said, Cursed be Canaan, a servant of servants shall he be unto his brethren. So, going back to the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary, if you look at the definition of Ham, it says, Ham, the progenitor of the dark races, not the Negroes. What? Then it goes on to say the Egyptians, the Canaanites, the Hivites, all the other. You can pretty much read Deuteronomy 7. Understand, but pretty much all the countries in Africa. Okay? Those were the Hamites, the Africans. You've been conquered by Esau, your land, to the point where they've moved there and they've colonized there. And they're shipping out all of your resources. And that you are now moving into their provinces, their countries, United States and the UK. Why is there such an influx of immigrants coming to the United States and to the UK? Because those are the same people, the United States and the UK, the Edomites, that are going to those lands, those native people's lands, and destroying it, and they're actually extracting resources from the people. So the people are like, well, hell, everything we have here, you take it from us and taking it there. We might as well should go there. You're serving unto them. Esau, the so-called the Hamites, they were bringing us into captivity with the so-called white man. That's why you got to watch the beginning of Roots. I always say that. Look at the beginning of Roots. All right, you see a dark-skinned nation running with the white folks, getting another dark-skinned races. So they know who we are. That's why they even said it in the Compact Bible Dictionary. We are not descended from Ham. We are not descended from the Africans. We are a dark-skinned people descended from Shem. All right, you have to be Shemitic in order to be an Israelite. And the Japhetic people today would be like the Hawaiians and the Samoans. And they stem back to the ancient Greeks, the Ionians and the Etruscans that ruled during that time. And they were dark-skinned people. Everybody on earth was dark-skinned. The only people on earth who are not dark-skinned would be the Edomites, because that was a curse put upon them going back to Cain and Abel. Okay? So Genesis 9 and 26, and he said, Blessed be the Lord God of Shem, and Canaan be his servant. God shall enlarge Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. So to this day, all over the world, you have to ask for aid. You have to. Why? Because going back to that curse that happened with Ham, looking at the nakedness of our forefather Noah. Now, this is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 7 through 8. Remember the days of old, consider the years of many generations. Ask thy father, and he will shew thee, thy elders, and they shall tell thee. Here comes the point. When the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, when he separated the sons of Adam, remember what the Lord said? Of Ham, Shem, and Japheth, they overspread the whole earth, right? So, the sons of Adam, not Abraham, the sons of Adam, he set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. He set the bounds of the people. Everybody had their own land. So what the hell is these Somalians talking about? Minnesota was given to them. No. What happened is that Minnesota is an asylum city, a sanctuary for you. And what you've done, you've been so arrogant, you've been so prideful, that now you even have the audacity. What was the name? Omar something. He was trying to run for mayor there. He's up there telling his people in Minnesota, in America, to vote for him while he's waving the Somali flag. You people are cooked. The audacity. Anyhow, Proverbs 23:10, remove not the old landmark and enter not into the fields of the fatherless. So America was is a landmark because it was known as Osiris. Is it Osiris? Osiris in the Apocrypha and the second Esdras. All right, the 13th chapter. Okay. So also going back to slavery. Like I said, you sold us into captivity. What the hell make you think the Lord got anything in favor for you? It says it right here. This is Joel chapter 3. I'm gonna get straight to the point. No, let me read it the whole thing through. For behold, in those days and in that time when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down to the valley of Jehoshaphat. Look at an ancient map. Jehoshaphat is pretty much what Israel is today. And will plead with them therefore my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. People, can't make this up. Scattered among the nations, the transatlantic slave trade. There's no other nation on the face of the earth in mankind history that's been separated via other nations. Think about it. All nations was in on it, y'all. All nations was in on it. No other nation went through what we went through. All right, and the land is parted. Look what happened in the West Bank with Palestinians in the small hats. Okay, this is biblical history that's happening right now as we speak. Verse 3: and they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine that they might drink. Yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon? Tyre and Zidon were also parts of land and side of the land of Canaan. Like the elder apostle Gabar say, or if you know the mystery, you must know the history. And all the coast of Palestine. And it's Canaan again. Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head. Why is the Lord saying this? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. Your own people sold you into slavery. That's a damn lie. You know what I noticed on the social media? I would hear Caucasian folks, Edomites, saying that our own people sold us into slavery. But whenever you listen to the Hamites talk with their spiteful, nasty taste in their mouth, they always say, "Oh, you was in captivity, you was in chains," but they never say that they sold. They never say that we sold ourselves. They know that they sold us. That's why they pridefully say that. See what I'm saying? So both of them telling us lies. It don't matter. Both of y'all was in on it. But they're always trying to say we the same people. Why would people that sold us into captivity have such a disdain for us when they come to the same country that we built? Because they're not the same fucking people, y'all. They're not our people. Continuing. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them. You can't make this up, people. And will return your recompense upon your own head. And I will sell your sons and your daughters in the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off. For the Lord, hold on, put respect on his name. For Yahawah hath spoken it. Understand? And I'm going to prove it in a clip. And I don't know. I've been looking for the original version, but I can't find it. I found 3 of the versions of it, but I can't find it. There's a scene from Shaka Zulu where he refers to a dark-skinned group of people as the Wandering Jews. Let that sink in. But once again, we sold ourselves into captivity. Get out of here. The Lord said he has made a clear distinction between the Israelites and the Hamites. Okay? With that being said, I truly pray y'all was edified and fed. Stay in the spirit, don't fear it, just endure it. Ask for forgiveness, pray without ceasing. Stay humble, remain diligent. YAHAWAH, Muffler Ball, Shalom.
It's only by the grace of God that any of these people will reach their as yet unknown destinations alive. Or maybe it's his will that I don't. So, Lieutenant, why are you venturing into those forsaken regions?
What do you know about a man named Shaka?
Does that answer your question, Lieutenant? The Masani tribe, Omolos, Lubis, Unos, Yunguanis, countless others, the banished of Southeast Africa, fleeing Shaka's spears, going straight into the arms of the white slave traders and the British troops on the borders of the Cape Colony. In a way, Lieutenant, they are the ultimate victims of recent history. If you'll favor my comparison, they are the wandering Jews of Africa. Fleeing the Pharaoh Shaka, they are the wandering Jews of Africa. Fleeing the Pharaoh Shaka, they are the wandering Jews of Africa. Fleeing the Pharaoh Shaka into the Babylonian captivity of slavery.